And we're back. Live from Las Vegas, it's your good pal Jeremy Dog Danley. And it's this week's edition of Bar Comedy USA News. With my good friend Double T from 96.7 FM, the Eagle, Rockford, Illinois. He just sent me a text message, said it's time to get it going. So I'll be right back. We're going to talk about today the difference between driving a million miles across the country and flying a million miles across the country when you're a touring comedian. All right, I'll be right back. I'm good. Yourself?
Good stuff. What are we talking about today?
Well, we've been talking a little bit about lately the experience of road comics, especially with their vehicles.
Right.
And as someone who has done both, driven a million miles across the country and flown a million miles across the country, I'm going to go over those differences.
Okay. Sounds good. Rockford's home for Classic Rock, 96.7 The Eagle. Double T Morning, sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash in Loves Park in Forest Hills and East Riverside. It is time for Bar Comedy USA News with comedian Dog. Dog, what is going on today?
Good morning, Double T. Hey, I'm excited to announce some upcoming trips that I have happening to Phoenix, Arizona, as well as Tacoma, Washington. In Phoenix, I will be playing at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy. It's part of the World Series of Comedy. In Tacoma, I will be going to the Tacoma Comedy Club, also part of the World Series of Comedy. And I got to tell you, Double T, someone asked me, are you going to be driving or flying to these shows? And it's debatable because both will sound a little bit like torture.
Yeah, I mean, you have traveled across this country back and forth over and over again, and you've done it in a car, you've done it in a plane. I mean, is there pros and cons? Which one's worse than the other, or are they both equally not fun?
Yes, Double T, I've done it in a box, I've done it with a Fox, and I gotta say, man, there's a lot of excitement that comes with driving across the country. There's a lot of excitement that comes with flying across the country. But after you've done that as much as I have, it feels more like you're in a box with a fox than just on a plane or in an automobile. And I'll give you, it feels like you're caged in a little bit.
Have you ever sat down and thought about how many miles you have traveled in your lifetime?
Yeah, because I have, and it is like you could do the rough math on it, and I'm no geologist, but 50,000 miles a year times 20 years equals 1,000,000 miles.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of time on the road, that's for sure.
And when you're in the car, what I love about it is that I was able to see America. You know, you
Right.
get off the interstate, you're going from one town to the next, and I actually have experienced the privilege of being able to firsthand see this country while I'm driving the car. At the same
A
time,
lot of people,
what's that?
a lot of people don't get that opportunity either.
A lot of people don't get that opportunity. And I would say that when you do have that opportunity, get off the interstate, hit those obscure highways. You know, I'm one of those people. I actually enjoy that drive on Highway 20 from Rockford to Dubuque.
You're crazy.
I am a little bit crazy like that. And a lot of people go, well, now that you're flying to these gigs and you don't have to be cooped up in the car, you got to miss seeing the country. And yes, I do. I don't miss be cooped up in the vehicle, but you get cooped up in the airplane. So here's really the difference, Double T. When you're driving, you've got the freedom of the road. You've got the horizon ahead of you, and you're sailing away. When you're flying to your gigs, here's what you do. You go to the most expensive mall in that particular city. And then you wait in a security line while they pat you down for whatever you might have. That is not allowed, but will be allowed in the gift shop
Of course.
in the city's most expensive mall. Then you sit in chairs like you're waiting in the emergency room at the hospital. Then you sit in a silver tube. And then about 3 or 4 hours later, you're in another really expensive mall where you have to sprint to get to be able to sit inside another silver tube. And then a couple hours later, you're just in another expensive mall. And then when you walk out of that mall, you're just in another city.
That is so true, man. It is Bar Comedy USA News with comedian Jared Dog. Tell everybody about the Pub and Grub Comedy Tour.
Well, the Pub and Grub Comedy Tour is awesome because that's where you will get to see the country. We go to nightclubs, taverns, neighborhood restaurants, and bars that are located in the nooks and crannies of America, all over from Colorado to the East Coast. And in order to find these places, you're going to have to get off the interstate a little bit and see what the real America is like. And you can go to barcomictix.com in order to check out the schedule.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Double T. That was a fun one.
Yeah, it was. It's Rockford's home for Classic Rock 96.7 The Eagle. Cool, man. Cool.
You might have to tighten that up a little bit, but
That's all right, man. It's all good. It's not bad. Oh, you're good.
yeah.
Once it's funny. A lot of these, once I do tighten it up and get rid of like the space and maybe some unnecessary words or something. Man, it usually works out well with the timing.
Oh, good. And I appreciate it.
No problem, dude. Well, cool, man. Well, have yourself a good one, my friend.
You too, Double T. Talk to you next week.
Yeah, talk.
All right, that was Double T. I'll be right back with some shout-outs for last week's headliners on the Pub and Grub Comedy Tour. Maybe I can just stick around for a little bit. If you're watching, if anybody's watching, comment below where you're watching from, and I'll let you know personally when the Pub and Grub Comedy Tour or the World Series of Comedy will be coming to somewhere near you. And I'll be right back. I'm going to bring up the list of shout-outs from last week. Bar Comedy USA, the Pub and Grub Comedy Tour. We had some amazing headliners out there, and they just got great reviews. Being the last weekend of May, it's always difficult to tell what it's going to be like because there's just so much going on, and people have got the cabin fever, and they got graduations, and they're getting ready to go out of town, and vacations, and all of this. And so when you can bring in a special event like a comedy night to a nightclub, tavern, or neighborhood bar, they love it. And barring any real celebrities, you are the celebrity. And so last week, celebrities on the Pub and Grub Comedy Tour include Derek Luna and Andy Gunnan, who, holy moly, they did the first ever show at Fubard Bar and Grill in Anderson, South Carolina, and it looked like they had an amazing time. And from what I hear, the folks there had an amazing time. We got lots of compliments in the form of text messages and Facebook comments on that one. The same as Steve Sabo and Scott Putman in Highland, Indiana at our Bar and Grill. That was their first time doing a comedy night. The place was packed. Derek Luna and Val Werner, who are some of the hosts and MCs at the World Series of Comedy, went to Hops in Campton, Kentucky. They had a great time. They said it was a small but mighty crowd. And then Frank Roach and Skylar Bulks went all the way up to Park Rapids, Minnesota. They put up a circus tent at Foxy's Bar and Grill. They had to bring the crowd outside, put up a circus tent. That's where they did the show. So, and then they had them stay in some lakeside cabin. So again, fun experience for those guys. They loved them. They gave it a 10 out of 10, and I appreciate it. Skylar Bulk stepping in to sub for Dave Kalsgaard, who couldn't make it, and Foxy's loved them. Cody and the crew up there in Park Rapids, Minnesota. So thank you guys for being here for another edition of Bar Comedy USA News. Go to barcomictix.com to get tickets for the Pub and Grub Comedy Tour. Go to VIPTicketHub.com for tickets for the World Series of Comedy. I'll be back next week with Double T and more shout-outs. Remember, comment below wherever you're watching from. I'll let you know what the upcoming schedule is for either the World Series of Comedy or the Pub and Grub Comedy Tour. Thanks for watching. That's it for me. And we'll see you soon.